So how was your first week of January? In our previous episode, we spoke about what you can do instead of setting a resolution. I remember I even discouraged you from setting resolutions. But if you still went ahead and, set yourself a resolution, then in this episode, we're going to break it down as to how you can stick with that resolution. The one concept that you can really learn and adapt to stick with that resolution and increase your odds of reaching your goal. Back to Up It and another episode of the Actionables podcast. If you're a regular viewer or a listener here, then wishing you lots and lots of success in this new year. If you're new here, then this channel brings you mindset coaching tips that can help you really move toward your life goals. So in this new year, if you are serious about moving toward your life goals and achieving those big goals for yourself, then do consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon. And with that, let's get into this episode. So let's start this off by talking about our previous episode, where I basically asked you to consider 3 things if you were serious about setting a resolution for yourself. Number 1 was plan for success. Second was research best practices. And third was customize those best practices. So whatever your resolution is, if you didn't do any or all of those 3 things, worry not, because you can still do one thing which is extremely important if you still want to stick with and importantly achieve that resolution. Now that we are all back from our holidays, we know that during holidays we tend to be extra inspired. But if the first week of January in 2021 has been any indication, then you already know that setting resolutions is the simplest thing, the easiest thing to do. But execution is really the challenging part. So the question is, what is it that you need to do in order to be able to stick with those resolutions? Because I feel you, pursuing goals isn't easy. It is designed to be difficult and challenges are guaranteed. But the great news is that there is one concept that I swear by. Personally, I've used it, and professionally, I can't stop talking too much about it. And this one thing is, think of it as your personal ammunition. Every time you have to do something challenging, if you learn to do this one thing, then you can deploy it every single time and it does not fail you once you get the hang of it. So you're ready to know what that is? Stay tuned. So let's get into this concept with an example. Let's say you want to increase your income, and practically there are only 2 ways to go about it. First is cut back on your expenses, and second is to start saving more. And there are only 2 scenarios that this can play out in. One is you cut back your expenses and you save more and you're extremely miserable about it. Or second is you cut back your expenses, save more, and dare I say you're ecstatic while doing this. And mind you, both these scenarios are completely doable. But like you guessed, the first scenario is sort of a default to most of us. So have you already guessed what this concept is about? So this simple and yet powerful concept is about falling in love with the process. Now there's something extremely powerful about falling in love with the process of doing the things that are absolutely needed to be done in order for you to get what you want. When you start enjoying what you're doing in order to receive what you want. So if you want to increase your income or any other resolution that you want to achieve for yourself in this year, this concept of enjoying the process of achieving that goal. Because unless and until you learn how to have fun with what you're doing, it's going to be an extremely uphill climb. There are going to be times when you don't feel like doing what's necessary and it's going to feel like a chore. That is a given. In fact, I suggest that you expect these challenges and no, it is not being negative or pessimistic. Now I know I've spoken about this concept a lot and I'm going to continue talking about this concept because it is fundamental to how we pursue our goals. So how do you have fun and how do you enjoy this process? Now this is going to be extremely subjective to each one of us. But here's my suggestion. Take what you are trying to do, and see how you can make it enjoyable. It doesn't have to be mundane. And even though there are going to be challenges, that does not mean that you don't have fun. I think there is so much emphasis on reaching the end goal that we forget that it is a journey. So find ways in which you can enjoy yourself. So one way you can do this is by recording or documenting your journey. You can do this either through journaling or making videos. Find what works for you and really learn to have fun this new year. Because yes, it is going to be challenging to achieve what you're trying to do, but who says you can't have fun while you're at it? So to wrap this episode up, I want to re-emphasize on this one critical thing, which is when it comes to pursuing your goals, the only thing that is guaranteed are challenges. However, if you learn how to enjoy the process of achieving those goals, then you really have a real shot not just to stick with your goals, but also to see them through. If this episode resonated with you, then tell me in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And a gentle reminder to don't forget to subscribe to our free email list called One Thing to Help You, which is a personalized weekly email from me in which I send you mindset coaching tips and a whole lot of love. So wishing you again a happy new year, and don't forget, your goals matter and it's really up to you to make it happen. I will see you in the next one. See ya.